Cry of the Beloved Country, Chapter 14, Part 2, Msimungu's Sermon. The sermon is preached in Zulu, but it is written here in English. Some of the most beautiful language that Alan Paton has written. Msimungu has taken Khumalo with him, this grieving man, to this place of retreat and rest called Erezenzeleni, a place where the blind live in community together. This begins on page 121. Second half of the page. It was a wonderful place, this Erezenzeleni, for here the blind that dragged out their days in a world they could not see, here they had eyes given to them. Here they made things that for all his sight he, Khumalo, could never make. His friend Msimungu would preach this afternoon in the chapel that he had seen. Msimungu opened the book and read to them from the first book. And Khumalo had not known that his friend had such a voice, for the voice was of gold, and the voice had love for the words it was reading. The voice shook and beat and trembled, not as the voice of an old man shakes and beats and trembles, nor as a leaf shakes and beats and trembles, but as a deep bell when it is struck. For it was not only a voice of gold, but it was the voice of a man whose heart was golden, reading from a book of golden words. And the people were silent, and Khumalo was silent. For when or three such things found in one place together, the golden words spoken from a golden heart, the voice of gold. The Lord has called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give for thee a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. The voice rose, and the Zulu tongue was lifted and transfigured, and the man too was lifted. It is as one who comes to something that is greater than any of us. And the people were silent, for were they not the people of the blind eyes? And Khumalo was silent, knowing the blind man for whom Msimungu was reading these words. Khumalo. And I will bring the blind by a way they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things I will do unto them, and not forsake them. For a while, I wonder what we live and struggle and die for. While I wonder what keeps us living and struggling, men are sent to minister to the blind. Who gives at this 1 hour a friend to make darkness light before me? Kumalo thinking. Who gives at this 1 hour wisdom to one so young for the comfort of one so old? Who gives to me compassion for a girl that my son has left? I hear you, my brother. There is no word I do not hear. He is finishing. I can hear it in his voice. One can know that what is said, is rounded, finished. It is perfection. He opens the book and reads again. He reads to me. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the Creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? The voice rises again, and the Zulu tongue is lifted and transfigured, and the man too is lifted. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fail. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. The people sigh, and Kumalo sighs, as though this is a great word that has been spoken. And indeed, this Msimungu is known as a preacher. It is good for the government, they say in Johannesburg, that Msimungu preaches of a word not made by hands, for he touches people at the hearts and sends them marching to heaven instead of to Pretoria. And there are white people who marvel and say, what words to come from the son of a barbarian people, who not long ago plundered and slaughtered in thousands and tens of thousands under the most terrible chief of all, referring back to probably Shaka Zulu. Yet he is despised by some for this golden voice that could raise a nation speaks always thus. For this place of suffering, from which men might escape if some such voice could bind them all together, is for him no continuing city. They say he preaches a word not made by hands, while in the streets about him men suffer and struggle and die. They ask what folly it is that can so seize upon a man, what folly it is that seizes upon so many of their people, making the hungry patient, the suffering content, the dying at peace. And how fools listen to him, silent, enwrapped, sighing when he is done, feeding their empty bellies on his empty words. Kumalo goes to him. Brother, I am recovered. Msimungu's face lights up, but he talks humbly. There is no pride or false constraint. I have tried every way to touch you, he says, but I could not come near. So give thanks, be satisfied. Msimungu is my password, one of the most inspiring literary characters I have discovered.